going on, fellas?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Wild card weekend.
Oh,
How y'all felt about them games?
All were pretty good, to be honest. For once, actually.
You know, my favorite was probably the Jaguars versus the Chargers game, man. I started this NFL season telling y'all, man, that boy was something serious. You know, Trevor Lawrence, man. Remember I was going to pick him in fantasy? Y'all talked me out of it, man. So that dude's special right there.
they look good.
But you know what I love most about him, though? You know what I love most about him? The way he celebrated after they got that 1-point victory. He went to Waffle House.
That's
how you know. That's how you know he's from Georgia.
Good boy, man.
Just with that game specifically, bro, it was quite impressively bad, if that makes sense. Because there's no way that should have happened. I don't think there's ever been a game like that where a team has blown a 27-point lead without having a turnover. Just the tale of two halves. While watching the game live with Blizzy, who's a Chargers fan, I told him if they could score 7 before the half, they got a chance. And look what they did with that chance. You know what I mean? Third biggest comeback in the history of playoff football. The whole Charger staff is gone because of it, except for the coach. Trevor Lawrence gets that first win above Justin Herbert, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes. Truly means that Urban Meyer must have been just as bad as everybody said he was.
So what's the word on the street with why the head coach isn't getting fired?
The Spanos family historically has always wanted to pay out their coaches. They don't really like to pay a lot for coaches. They just spent all that money on the free agents this past off season. J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, everybody else. So, and they're gonna have to pay Herbert. Herbert's rookie contract's gonna be ending soon. So they just rather allocate the money somewhere else. And Brandon Staley is a good coach, but it really is kind of on the offensive coordinator. They only had 3 points in the second half.
But it should still fall and lie on the head coach, though, man. I've never seen that before, where the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach get fired, but the head coach keep his job. Like, he selected those two individuals, didn't he? The buck should stop with him and end with him. I can understand them firing all 3 of them, but to say, hey, buddy, you get to keep your job. But the 2 people who work under you, they got to go.
No, but yeah, normally 27 points. You normally can't blow that lead unless, like, regular stuff happens. Muff punts, interceptions, fumble return for touchdowns. They literally didn't have a turnover the whole game. So if you look on paper, you know what I'm saying? It looks like dude had 3 picks in 5 minutes, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that dude's not supposed to win that game, but whatever. Chargers going Charger. They continue to be cursed. It's official. It was already a rumor. It's official, man. They cursed. I don't know how they get over this hump.
I think they have to go into full rebuild at this point. They got an old team. I don't really know how they can go into this new draft thinking that, oh, we're just one piece away or anything like that. I think it's a full rebuild for them.
I say you keep Herbert, you keep Mike Williams, you keep Keenan Allen, you keep Austin Eckler. Everybody else is subject to, Joey Bosa with his little tantrums in the game, got disqualified, or no, he almost got disqualified, but he wasn't helping.
Got to keep Derwin.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, of course. Derwin, best safety. But, like, everybody else, they can go, man. Who knows?
And speaking of going, if you would like to travel, Iodine Travel is a travel agent you should check out. You want to talk a little bit about that, man?
Basically, like we always tell you, trying to capitalize on the untapped market, the untapped oasis known as the motherland. About 5% of American domestic travel is to Africa. We trying to change that number, one trip at a time. They're actually currently in Portugal and Spain right now doing a tour, headed up by my boy Naki out of Togo. He does a citywide tour of the history of slavery in Lisbon. And then we also gearing up August I think it's the 1st for the London trip, and I'll be doing that one with him. So check him out, man. Instagram, website, whatever. You can even talk to me about him. Hit me in my DMs, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get you
Telling
linked
you,
up.
you're making me want to go, man. You're making me want to go, man.
Yeah, well, you know who else is due up for a vacation? Tom Brady. Because I don't know if y'all saw that Monday Night Football game, but like I've been saying, he's in the wash. I think it's official now.
Well, I'm surprised you're saying that because all over ESPN, everyone was like, "Where's Brady going next?" I'm so confused. He looks washed.
I mean, it's because he's Tom Brady. He wants to play. They're going to let him play. He's not the type of person you say no to. And a lot of teams need quarterbacks right now. So even if it is for 1 year, and we
Well,
can talk about those actually. Well, hold on. Let's talk about Monday Night Football first. Uh, First off, Dallas got their first road playoff win since 1992. That's 30 years. Dak Prescott is now one of 5 quarterbacks with 4 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown in a playoff game. Brett Maher missed 4 extra points, becomes the first ever kicker to do that. Micah Parsons had Brady shook, man, on 9 pressures. He got 1 sack. He was 2 for 8 for an average of 1.4 yards. Dallas leads the league in cover 0, but they ran 2 high quarters the whole night, so they were just causing Brady all kind of problems. The Bucs only ran the ball 12 times. Tom Brady threw the ball 66 times. Dak Prescott only threw it 33 times, so that just kind of shows you the type of time they was on. And like you said, we were talking about how he looks washed in the past 2 seasons. He's thrown for 812 and 799 pass attempts, and both of those are 1 and 2 all time. So even though he's old, they're like trying to look to him, and I'm not really sure, not necessarily why, but like other than that, like little 20, 30-yard strike to Julio Jones, he didn't really look like Brady anymore.
Well,
You know what
maybe
I
he
mean?
needs a new team. Maybe he needs to, go to the 49ers, or, some team that's lacking a quarterback and have all the right pieces around him. A team
Uh,
that's going to allow him to be a true pocket passer.
I mean, that's kind of he's one of the last statuesque quarterbacks left. Out of those 66 completion or 66 attempts, he had 31 incompletions. That was the most, I think, all time in a playoff game. He threw his first red zone pick since 2019, and ends the season with an 8-10 record, the worst of his career. Uh, but a nice and he had a little dirty slide tackle. People was talking about that too. Uh, Other than that, he's now the first non-kicker to play in a playoff game 45 plus.
I could see them, kind of like what Denver did with Manning back in the day. And even when they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like he wasn't throwing. Like
No,
that team was all
it
defense.
was all pass interference.
Who knows? But I
Uh,
guess the question is, do y'all think he's done? Or will he
he's
play after
quoted.
the season?
He was quoted as saying he's going to take it. He's going to take it one day at a time. Um, Nick Wright reported on First Things First that he is no longer a difference maker. I think we can all agree on that. Tampa is already. This is another thing that I found out today. Tampa is already $53 million over the cap, even without Brady on contract. So he's not coming back to Tampa. If he plays football, there's no way he comes back to Tampa. So I think out of 3 years, they got the Super Bowl, even though it was in the pandemic with all the circumstances. They got the 1 Super Bowl, they got the playoff wins. But it's time to move on. And I actually have a list of possible places. I don't know if y'all heard these, but San Francisco's number 1, Las Vegas, Carolina, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the 2 fringe picks or possibles are New England and the Colts.
Well, I got a hot take for both of y'all because guess who else is looking to part ships? Rodgers. So I mean, all those teams are candidates for Rodgers. If you were one of those franchises, what player would you rather have, Rodgers or
I'm
Brady?
taking Rodgers.
I'm taking Rodgers too. He's definitely mulling the choice to play in his 19th season or not. He's got 2 years left, $100 million guaranteed coming from the Packers. So whether they trade him or whatever, everybody's talking about Tom is going to go back to San Francisco. They've got the cheap quarterbacks. They're going to get rid of Jimmy G, keep Trey Lance, keep Brock Purdy for real cheap. Maybe bring in Brady for 1 or 2 years, try to get a little lightning in a bottle championship, and then you still got the young guys to lean on if it doesn't work out. For Rodgers, I think he might be going to, I want to say Vegas, but I don't know why he would leave the NFC. Same thing with Brady. Like, if they do switch teams, I think they will want to stay in the NFC.
I couldn't tell you. Probably gonna go where the money takes him.
Well,
That's my
while
guess.
you guys are talking about that, I found this clip that I thought was interesting. It was basically Aaron Rodgers talking about his possibility of leaving Green Bay. And I guess, well, let's play the clip before the clip. If my internet wants to catch up to 2023.
Ugh.
Or basically, I'll sum it up to say this. I guess Gronkowski was basically calling Rodgers out there. Why would you? I think the statement he said was, "I think I could still win a couple of MVPs in the right situation." And Gronkowski was basically saying, "Why would you want to win MVPs? You should want to win Super Bowls." F an MVP award.
That's probably just Gronk being Gronk. You know how he is. For
He
Rodgers,
said, do I
Rodgers
think I
does
can
keep-
still play? Of course. Can I play at a high level? The highest. I think I can win MVP again in the right situation. Is the right situation in Green Bay or somewhere else? I'm not sure. I don't think you should shut down any opportunities. I think there's more conversations to be had. What's your take on that?
I'm totally fine with everything he said, except one major part, and that's the MVP again. It's just that I think I could win another Super Bowl, and then that would have been totally fine. Like, bro, like, why are you thinking MVP? Like, don't you want Super Bowls? Like, Super Bowls are I think 5 times greater than an MVP award. Like, we all know that you won the MVP a few times now, but like, you know, everyone would know even more how many more Super Bowls you've won than MVP. So that's why I'm just a little confused about that, you know, about that quote that he just had. I mean, it should be Super Bowls. You should never be thinking the MVP when Super Bowls are twice.
And you've won 4. He's won 1, and you know a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people are saying Brady wouldn't Brady wouldn't say that. Brady would say like I want my team, I want that. And both these guys are going to have to make decisions.
Yeah, we all know how Aaron Rodgers is. You know, ayahuasca away, my dude. Whatever you feeling.
I think the takeaway from that is that Gronk looks washed.
Yeah, he look beat. He look like he been going to keggers. He look like he been partying, bro.
He looks
tired.
like 60
It
years
looks like
old.
he just woke up, man.
Definitely.
He does not look good.
Either way, we know that it'll be money based. The decision to stay in Green Bay was money based. So, unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers is kind of old news. Another interesting fact about that Chargers Jacksonville game is they ran the ball for the lowest rate of any team that had a lead this whole season.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, to Bola's point with the head coach thing, like I was trying to calculate in my head if they decided to run the ball every play after half, would they have just won the game?
They probably would have.
And it's just like, dude, that has to fall into the head coach's hands. Like, I'm so confused, but whatever.
The other wild card games, the Giants upset the Vikings. Like I said, man, even though the records were different, the game was very evenly matched, and I feel like the Giants really stepped up and they played a complete game. And I'm actually kind of low key proud, bro. Saquon was looking good. Daniel Jones was looking good. Isaiah Hodgins came out of nowhere. Slayton had some plays.
I mean, it wasn't a fluke thing either. They were in control the whole game.
Yeah.
They beat them up and down the field every quarter. So it was a great win for them.
Outside of that, 49ers, even though the Seahawks were leading 14-13 and a half, they ended up handling them 41-23. We kind of already knew that, though. The Dolphins and the Bills, man, this game was crazy. I want to know what y'all thought about that game.
It was closer than I thought it would be, man. But I think the team that was supposed to win won. So
they did everything they could to try to throw the game. I will say that, though.
That's what you did.
Dolphins should have won. I mean, dude, Tyreek and Waddle were dropping the ball the most
Yeah.
critical times. Like they had, if at least 3 of those were catches, like it would have been a completely different scenario. And who knows, Buffalo can score in 20 seconds or something, but I think it would have been a different game. And I
If they
wouldn't
had Teddy, Teddy or two, I think it's a different game.
and I wouldn't overstate that 49ers. Seahawks are a good team.
Oh yeah.
Like the 49ers, I don't know what they're doing. They're gelling right now. Dude, they look really fucking good.
Do y'all think the Seahawks would have won if they had Russell Wilson still?
No. They wouldn't have made the playoffs if they had Russell.
I don't know, man. It's in that system, but probably I don't think so. 49ers are just they're a complete team, man.
They're probably the best NFC team right now. I think they're better than the Eagles. They got the coaching, the grit, the experience, the veterans, the all pros at every position, the what I'm saying, the fan base, the history. I feel like the
I think they
Niners
look
are
like the
popping right
best team in the NFL right now.
well, some people need glasses. The other game, Bengals Ravens, kind of the same thing. Like, bro, the Ravens should have won that game, bro. Like, I don't know how the Bengals are still riding on this luck train, but you know what I'm saying? If Tyler Huntley goes low instead of high, the score is reversed and the Ravens are coming to Kansas City.
But Lamar Jackson didn't play, right?
He didn't need to play.
Oh,
Because Tyler Huntley did the exact same. Like, bro, it's amazing how, like, I feel bad for Lamar because you literally got a dude who's probably half as talented as you, who's being just as effective in that offense, and you can see why the Ravens don't want to pay him.
I don't know, man. Some would argue that I've been hearing people say if Lamar played, they would have definitely won.
I'd say they would have had a higher probability, but the way the game situations played out, literally Tyler Huntley just had a QB sneak this ball. I don't know what he wanted to be, Simba or Rafiki. He holding the ball out like Simba, bro. I'm like, what is you doing? And then ended up getting the longest fumble return for a touchdown in playoff history.
It's a game of inches, man.
That flipped the game right there. The Ravens were stopping the Bengals defense or the Bengals offense. Bengals couldn't run the ball. The Bengals were even dropping passes. Like the Ravens had them, but
Okay,
it
so
is
with
what it is.
all this luck talk and everything, now since you're talking about best team NFC, best team AFC, what team are you most scared of in the AFC right now?
I'm not scared. It was also the fact that the Bengals had 3 O linemen hurt, so they started sacking. They sacked Joe Burrow 6 times. And what's the one thing you can do to stop him? So it was just how that game played out. Now to address your question as far as who I'm most afraid of, in which division or which conference?
AFC. What's
The Bengals, just because Joe Burrow's the second best quarterback. Like Josh Allen leads the league in turnovers, had 5 turnovers in the game against the Dolphins. Like everybody wants to talk about Josh Allen's 2 games last year, and that brings his average up so high. Look at his other 6 games; they're terrible.
So you think the Bengals are gonna beat the Bills? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, they were beating the Bills whenever, unfortunately, DeMar Hamlin went down, and I think they would have won that game. So now they get a redo like we all wanted. So we get to see what happens.
I guess my question for the both of y'all though is who do y'all think is gonna win, Cowboys or 49ers?
ooh, I think 49ers for sure, man. I'm praying they do. I think
It's
49ers
definitely the
Super Bowl.
49ers. The Cowboys got an accomplishment for the first time in 30 years, which means they will only do terrible things until another 20, 30 years goes by. So Dak looked great. I love Dakota Prescott. I think he's good, but nah, man, these Niners, and it's an old school rivalry. I think Niners got this one.
I could see them too, like just they're not gonna be throwing a lot, so that kind of takes away like the Micah Parsons factor, especially if you run to his opposite side or you do different blocking schemes. I could see them finding a way to neutralize him, and I don't really think Dallas's secondary or linebacking core is that stellar. Like if 49ers can run the ball, like they're gonna control that game.
The 49ers are number 1 in offensive efficiency since week 8. So that's the week after they played us, because obviously when they played us, they lost and played like shit. But since then, since they lost to us, they haven't lost.
Hey, you know who else beat them? The Bears.
That monsoon game, bro.
So maybe
Uh,
the Bears and Chiefs are equal. That's what that means, I guess.
oh wow.
I think it's
Right.
gonna be a good game. My mind is telling me 49ers, but something tells me Cowboys are gonna have a fighting chance, man. It's gonna be a close game. I mean, I'm just looking at their record. Even though the Cowboys are 4-4 away, the Cowboys are 12-5 this season. 49ers are 13-4. So I don't know, man. They look evenly matched up. I get it that 49ers have the better defense, and they seem to have a system that's running and playing well. But I think what Dallas brings to the table is the fact that you don't know what they're gonna do week in and week out, which sometimes unpredictability is an advantage. So sometimes some weeks they blow the competition out the water, and some weeks they stink up the joint.
I feel like Dak
Any
Prescott is
given
due.
Sunday.
Dak is due for 2 picks, so we'll see.
I want to hear Bola's thoughts about this Jacksonville Chiefs game coming up. Since he was,
You already know. You
I've been
already
waiting
Trevor
all
know.
week for
Lawrence,
this.
man. I try to tell you, y'all
You
thought
already know.
Trevor Lawrence? You want to draft Trevor Lawrence? I try to tell you back then, man. I was trying to tell you that's my boy, man.
I mean, you think he
Hey.
can pull it off, Bola? That's
A
my
golden retriever, man. He may just do that, man. We'll see. I think in all real reality, I think the Chiefs are gonna win the game, but I think he's definitely gonna give a fighting chance. He made it this far. I don't think they're gonna get blown out like Georgia did to TCU. But it'll be a good game to watch, and he'll hopefully grow from this and learn. So next year when they come back, they know what to do.
But why such little faith? I mean, 2 weeks ago, didn't the Chiefs almost lose to Houston?
Something else, man.
I'm just waiting for my turn.
Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead, man.
All right. Jacksonville, the prince that was promised, is coming to Arrowhead. Nice sign, bro. Does the back say will troll for food? Is that what the back says? Doug Peterson obviously used to play for and coach for Andy Reid, so it's a little bit of a brotherly rivalry game. But Doug Peterson is actually 0-2 against Andy Reid since he became a coach. Trevor Lawrence has obviously never lost on Saturday. We play on Saturday, but there's a first time for everything. Jacksonville's been getting it done by being able to pressure and blitz a lot. They brought pressure on 36% of dropbacks since week 14, and that's top 5 in the NFL. Well, with that being said, the Kansas City Chiefs lead the NFL in pass block success percentage at 75. We're second in the NFL in sacks, and we're number 1 in batted balls.
Wait, what's their Madden rating?
What does that have to do with it? Anyway, and in the interview today, Pat Mahomes gave Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence props for fighting adversity against a good team and really highlighted his ability to bounce back. He also respects the bye week and says that we are focused and locked in. So basically what's going to happen is I want to say that it'll be similar to the game we played earlier this season, but they'll play us a little bit better. I still think it's a 2-possession game. We'll get plenty of sacks, probably a couple turnovers, but still probably 34-24, Kansas City moving on, AFC Championship.
I think, with all jokes aside, a serious concern I have for the Chiefs that was not resolved this year is the defense does not look good.
Did you not hear the numbers I just said?
I don't care what numbers you're talking about. You played Houston. I don't know the other 2 teams you played before that.
We lead the entire NFL in batted balls. We're number 2 in sacks.
Look, dude, the defense is not good. Batted balls and sacks,
all right, bro.
Like whatever. The defense rating, I haven't pulled up, but I'm sure it's not top 10. So what scares me,
we're top 5 in rush defense.
What would scare me is because people have to pass against you, so they're not running the ball. But what would scare me is that Jacksonville can score quick. They proved that last week. So I think it's a dangerous game. We'll see.
They're going to start with Travis Etienne, just like they always do. It won't help. And you can't throw 4 picks against the Chiefs and win the game. That's guaranteed. Guaranteed. So if he comes out doing that stuff in any way, shape, or form, it's going to be a quick game.
I don't want to come on here next week and have the game be decided by penalties or some bullshit,
They
So,
seem to be, I'll be honest, the refs seem to be letting stuff slide. They seem to be letting them play this year. I'll be honest.
for the playoffs.
Yeah, for the play. Yeah, for the playoff. They seem to be letting them play. Like there was a lot of, like almost every single one of Asante Samuel's picks against Jacksonville looked like pass interference, but they let them play. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like the refs will be a problem. I do think Doug Peterson is going to go deep, deep, deep into his bag as far as trick plays and stuff that he can try to, you know what I'm saying? Andy used to be his mentor, so I'm sure there's, maybe a formation or a play or something that could, these guys been around each other for decades, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure they might poke at each other, maybe run plays that they both used to run or something like. I feel like there'll just be a lot of offensive scheming. I feel like the coaching, two decent defenses that like to blitz. It's just going to be about who can get home and who can score touchdowns over field goals.
So guess who had a better defense this year, passing defense, than the Chiefs, who are ranked in
Almost everybody.
Yeah, so it's just these stats, just because their defense got holes, people are gonna be passing.
No, like you just said, people have to pass on us because they're always losing. So no, use that caveat for this as well.
So that's why the rush defense isn't good either. Those numbers are inflated. Your numbers that are ranking are inflated because people aren't running the ball because you've been in a lot of shootouts.
But that's what I'm trying to know. People be losing and they're forced to pass and they don't have a good quarterback. That's basically what's gonna happen.
When you play in a passing division too, it's a pass. You're not playing a lot of running teams in that division, blah, 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 blah. So there's many reasons why some stats can be skewed in one person's favor versus not. I'm just looking at it as a whole. The defense doesn't look that great. It's mediocre.
Discreditation. Nice attempt. But like I said, number 2 in sacks. We've been getting home. We're going to get home to Trevor Lawrence. We're going to get home to whoever survives the Bills Bengals. We're going to bat these balls down. We play good defense, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna save that. Good defense. I'll see you next week.
And with that said, let's keep the mouse on play as we continue to the main pod. Hit that like button.
I'm gonna have one that says Dane only wears a cap.
Good defense. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Good defense.